But when you go all in on something, I would say that does take conviction. Now, your conviction might be
How many
coming from
chairs are you
first
sitting on
principles.
right now?
One.
Are you all in on the chair? The point really is you put on one pair of glasses. You've got one pair of AirPods right now. You're looking at me through one screen. You're using one microphone. That's a one microphone. Like, you trust it? Is that conviction? Seems kind of scary. Why don't you diversify? Why don't you use 10 microphones? The point really is things in your life. Do you drive in 10 cars at the same time or one car at one time? Do you drive down one street? Aren't you afraid that you're driving down one street? Do you take a different way? You know? So my point really is, if you're you get on one airplane, are you convicted? You put your entire family on the one airplane, aren't you afraid? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's no second best, okay?
These Nazi blood-sucking anti-American parasites that want to make you and your family slaves know that we are standing up against them, and we are red-blooded, and we are not slaves, and we are not bowing down to them. I'm not bowing down. I'm at the tip of the spear. I get death threats every day. And you know what? I am honored to be who I am. I'm honored to just be an average person that stood up 15 years ago and said, I'm going to defend the Republic. I'm going to defend the family. I'm going to defend the Second Amendment. I'm going to fight against abortion. I'm going to see what happens when I really take action. And we have laid waste to the enemy. If you simply unloose yourselves and become the leaders you are, we will sweep this scum into the gutter. We will defeat the New World Order. We will crush the tyranny. Second hour, straight ahead. Stay with us.
Nobody knows about that fucking degenerate life when you're fucking down 40,000 and you battle the fuck back. You say, you know what? I'm a fucking strong, independent man. And you're not gonna tell me I should go to bed. I'm gonna battle the fuck back. And I'm gonna fucking get my money back. And guess what? I got my motherfucking money back. That's right.
I'm gonna sit here talking all night and we're gonna go fucking gamble. Let's fucking go.
Money isn't real. None of this is real.
This is just...
It's free. It's free.
What do you mean free?
Free money. Lose it all.
Lose it all.
Andrew, I know you said money isn't real, but I am getting fucked.
Asset. Well, Bitcoin is the best crypto asset. Okay, what's the second best? There is no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay. But take all your money, buy Bitcoin. Then take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin. Then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin. And if you absolutely love the thing that you don't want to sell it, go mortgage your house and buy Bitcoin with it. And if you've got a business that you love because your family works for the business that's in your family for 37 years and you can't bear to sell it, mortgage it, finance it, and convert the proceeds into the hardest money on earth.
You didn't have to cut me off. Think I like it never happened to me. We were nothing. I don't even need your love, but you treat me like a stranger and I feel so loved. No, you didn't have to stoop so low. Have your friends collect your records and then change your number. I said I don't need that though. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know.
Woo! What is going on, you guys? It is Dollar Cost Crypto here with Coast to Coast with DCC, man. What's up, man? I'm alive. I haven't died yet. Incredible. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Thanksgiving. I was going to say something else. Probably not correct, but oh well. What's up? I'm alive. I'm alive. Crazy, you guys, man. Been sick like a dog, but I'm alive. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Definitely, man. You asked me today how many hours I slept. I think I slept 20. I've been awake 8 hours. Money isn't real, you guys. Money isn't real. We got a really cool show for you guys, man. We got the guys from Coasts. This is an onboarding product, basically. It allows you to basically onboard. Well, actually, as a matter of fact, I should let them say really what they do. So, Resolute, man, what's up?
Hey, DCC. Thanks for having me, mate. And yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
You sound Aussie. Is that correct?
Yeah. So Stoic and I are both Australian. He lives in the States though now. I've lost one of my long-term buddies. But,
how'd you lose him?
but yeah.
Female? Or
What's that?
Was it because of family or work? That he's in the States?
He's got a family there now. But look, he's had a lot of working opportunities over there as well. He's sort of got bitten by the travel bug early doing university exchanges 20 years ago, and he never really came back. So anyway, he goes good, but we miss him.
Yeah, everyone in the chat's going oi 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 oi. But yeah, if you wouldn't mind giving people a little bit of a breakdown what Coast is and everything like that. I've seen it all everywhere. Obviously, the first place I ever really heard about you guys was just in the forums and stuff, or I should say in the Telegram chats from back in the day. And then I heard a lot of good things from you guys from the Fiat Famous team. Especially when they added one thing that Buck was really proud of is that he was able to help you guys out and give you a decent amount of yield on the liquidity pool, so you guys could actually really get your stable coin started.
Yeah, look, before we get started about what we do, definitely for everyone listening, all the Pulse Chain builders, we're in a Telegram together. We speak sort of every day, and even core devs like Brett help us out and give us support with things. So I know that at times the bear market or the early phases of the bull market sentiment isn't great, but there's a lot of hard work going on. And to address Buck specifically, he's definitely been really supportive of our product, and we can only be appreciative of that. They're putting out some good DeFi products. Those guys between PHUX and Fame.io and Fiat on the two chains, I think they've done really well. So, and I think that's what Pulse Chain needs. We need a DeFi suite. There's probably a few pieces of infrastructure that can still be built, and there's a few things that are launching soon. But I guess our goal has just been to be complementary to all of that. And bull markets don't really happen unless capital comes in, and so our product largely is just a set of payment rails onto Pulse Chain, which hopefully there's been a few events over the last 6 months that Pulse Chain's been live that have sort of highlighted the importance of what we're doing. So I remember everyone was super excited about the OKX listing, which was great, but that sort of went away with Richard's SEC stuff. At least it was at the same time. And then as well, I think the Pulse Chain bridge works great. We've heard good reports of Token Express, albeit it having thin liquidity on the bridge BNB side of things. We're finding, and I know that both yourself and Charlie with Crypto Mindset onboard, thousands of people to this ecosystem. But, we've certainly found that as the core team further decentralized the Pulse ramp and the different products in their front ends, we've certainly started to notice a few little friction points with users having a harder time getting their capital across. And I know that, within CMC, for example, or a lot of people who've been in Pulse Chain or Hex for a long time, they're all pretty DeFi native. So these things aren't very difficult for most of us. But we've got to remember that, we want to grow our network, and that's going to be people who aren't experienced DeFi users. So largely the Coast platform is a fiat on-ramp and also off-ramp that just purely aims to drive economic energy into Pulse Chain.
Beautiful, man. And it is by fiat on-ramp, you're talking about straight up like I'm putting a debit credit card. Because I'm going to act like I really don't know anything about Coast
sure,
anymore.
Man. Sure. I'm happy to walk you through it. So very simply, I mean, there's a lot of products out there that talk about being on-ramps to Pulse Chain, but a lot of them are simply crypto to crypto products. This is a legacy-based fiat into Pulse Chain product. And I guess the difficulty on our end is that that's highly regulated. We have a legal team. We have frequent meetings. We're exposed to the changing landscape of the legacy system. But that's, a burden we're happy to take on because, we were listening to Richard. We've been in the community for a long time, and we really want to just have a place where people can come and safely on-ramp their funds. I know, and I've, listened to streams of yours before, and I think the message is pretty consistent across a lot of the content creators. It's that centralized exchanges are a necessary piece of infrastructure to get your capital into crypto. But
depending on who you ask.
Yeah, that's right. But look, I think something that people often don't realize is that, when you onboard your capital through a centralized exchange, you might experience quite low fees, but that's because you are the product. A bit like, wanting to use your money for trading fees and leverage or to keep you in their ecosystem. So we just want to offer an alternative where people can bring their fiat and put it into the Pulse Chain assets of their choice. We'll talk a bit about how that occurs, but really we're just here to bring economic energy onto Pulse Chain as rather than a competitor to the bridge or any other centralized exchanges that list Pulse down the road, just homegrown, built, platform that tries to, where possible, create an innovative way of doing things that give people more personal control. And we can talk about some of that stuff, as we get into the nuts and bolts of it.
Got it. Okay. Now, basically, can it be used by most people in the States?
Yeah. So in terms of where we were able to operate, if it's all right with you, I might actually talk about what it is. So if you come to our website, you come to app.zeroxcoast.com. What we do there when you register is you're actually creating yourself a digital bank account that's administered by Fortress Trust. That's our financial partner in the States. The reason why using a service like that is so helpful is they have established money transmitter licenses in over 50 countries in the world, which means that we've already been able to service users from all over the world getting their money onto Pulse Chain. The individual process of getting money transmitter licenses, despite being a well-funded and organized team like us, is insanely high. So both the paperwork burden, the regulatory burden, the surety bonds that in the United States itself would reach into the millions of dollars are such a friction point for establishing a new financial company in all of the jurisdictions of the world. So to answer your questions around where people can bring their money onto, at the moment, it's the United States, unfortunately not including New York, which has quite tight regulation. And in Texas, Fortress are just re-updating their money transmitter license. So we're not able to support Texas users currently. But otherwise, we're able to onboard people from Europe, so the UK, Ireland, France, Italy, lots of European countries, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Japan. The list really is quite big. Canada as well. If anyone wants to go to our website, so zeroxcoast.com/markets, there's a list of the over 50 countries, and you're more than welcome to go and
as well. It's linked below.
Yeah. And I can see Stoic in the chat there. He'll probably answer a few questions for a bit if anyone has anything specific. But we certainly are able to reach a lot of countries. And really, I guess, DCC, the point of this whole thing is we want to on-ramp the next $100 million into Pulse Chain over this cycle. And that should be in everyone's best interest. So whether you're a Hex Maxi, whether you're into other Pulse Chain applications and assets, whether you're a meme coin guy or an NFT guy, we're just trying to bring more money and economic energy into the network because we think that's critical for the valuations to rise over the next few years.
So you're so let's just say, all right, as an example, right? Link my card up. Let's just say I want to buy $1,000 worth of Pulse Chain. It just shows up in my wallet once everything's set up. Is that basically how it works?
Yeah, so more or less. So when you sign up, you will go through a KYC process, which I know is a sensitive topic for people, but you need to remember that it's like walking into a bank and opening a bank account. That is what's occurring when you interact with the front end. And the value of that is it becomes a almost limitless on and off ramp. So we have the ability to on ramp there with no limit, fiat on as well as fiat off, to largely no practical limit for the majority of users. So that brings a lot more power to the product. If we were to be a non-KYC on-ramp, you might notice they often have a limit of $1,000. After a couple of transfers, you can't use it anymore, and they're never able to be used as a fiat off-ramp. So, we're trying to build a more robust and strong platform. Once you've signed up with us, then you're able to fund your digital bank account, which essentially just means if you've got capital in your bank account that you've created with Fortress Trust, you can at any point just mint the CST stablecoin 1-to-1 with the fiat, and then you're able to swap that on chain. We have an integration of the Pateus DEX aggregator that allows the liquidity to be spread for any order that you have, so that obviously the capital efficiency and coins in your pocket end up being, the highest possible. And we'll talk about on-chain liquidity in a minute. So, that with utilizing the relationship we have with the fiat and PHUX guys, as well as the help we've had from the guys at PulseX, we've got, almost 3 million of on-chain liquidity in pools. So people are getting good order execution, and that should only grow in this part of the market cycle.
So you're basically onboarding cash into a stable coin, and then that stable coin, you just sell it for Pulse Chain basically, or you're receiving Pulse Chain from Coast.
So the platform, have you ever used TUSD before, Trust?
No.
There's some similarities in that regards, where essentially with TUSD, you're wiring in money and then getting the TUSD stablecoin. It's very similar, although there is some subtle differences with our platform, but you are getting CST. Now, one of the important things to mention is that over the short term, we're looking at the next week, we'll actually be doing direct pulse buys. So the user, when they come on, they're able to select how many US dollars they'd like to buy Pulse with, and they will literally just have a Pulse purchase transaction. Now, the tech behind that is that the stablecoin will be minted, it will be swapped on chain and returned to the user. But that just allows people to be not holding PLS for gas, because it's a very DeFi native on-ramp. So we're non-custodial, which means any stable coins are immediately in your MetaMask Rabby wallet if you're using those. At this stage, people need PLS for gas to run that transaction, but we'll be making an update to the platform in the next week or so. So just to allow those first-time users an easier experience.
Yeah, because a lot of them were like, I just want my coins now, right? If they're not very DeFi native and we're just trying to onboard them, then it needs to be pulse, or at least of some pulse with stable, basically.
Yeah, and it's interesting. So this is why a lot of new people really like centralized exchanges. They don't realize, for the most part, then they're not holding their keys. They've just inherited a massive counterparty risk, and they're probably having their funds victimized with being shown a million shiny things to try and buy. But people like the simplicity of clicking a button. Yeah,
use Android.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, so we want to make it easier. We know from online shopping, online other marketing research, that the more clicks are required, the more people drop off. And I guess getting a new person through a centralized exchange and downloading a MetaMask and using a now decentralized Pulse ramp, and then swapping their coins on either PHUX or PulseX when they arrive on Pulse chain, that's a lot of steps for new users. So we're trying to cut down on that friction, because we think that will be something that's attractive to a lot of new people. And, we're going to have a lot of eyeballs. We've got the highest of stakes being released, I believe, globally that this week, I was just being told, which is exciting. We just want to have a very simple place where people can onboard. And that's largely the mechanism.
Well, that'll definitely help, man. I mean, hey, dude. I mean, shout out to the highest of stakes teams, man. Long time coming, that's for fucking sure.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I know people are a bit sour about it, but I wonder if it's, it might actually turn out advantageous. I mean, I know you're you're a bit of a macro guy. You like to comment on the Fed and the interest rates, and we're probably in a better next 18 months than the prior 18 months. So maybe getting eyeballs at this point in time is better timing.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing, the main thing that's looming over the ecosystem is just I've got some really big players on the sidelines that they're just not willing to buy right now. Obviously, like in terms of like new people onboarded and people, normal guys, or somebody with decent wealth is like they're willing to take a shot at it. But I got some guys. I've been, I've talked to Funny Jim about this and stuff. I've got some guys in the background that have got some real money, and they just don't want to touch it until the whole Richard thing's kind of settled out, basically, or we got some resolution, or a little more resolution on it. And that's kind of like the difficult part on that side. But in terms of the onboarding side, it's not really that difficult. But on the but for guys coming in with a lot of cash, they're definitely wanting to know what's going on with Richard, basically. And like I have people tell me all the time, like, oh, it doesn't matter in this. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean,
definitely does.
I think the outrage marketing phase probably has bitten him in the ass a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He certainly made himself a target. And look, maybe his motivations are he wants to make a massive change, but I don't know. I'd rather not have the problem to deal with altogether. But yeah, I've got no doubt that you've got some people that have got some concerns.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the good thing is I'm able to onboard some of these people into other coins and get them into this stuff. But it's sort of this whole thing where like, especially you're talking to clients or anybody who has a lot. I'm talking millions. I'm not talking about like they're coming in with $100,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Millions,
proper adult cash,
proper amounts of allocations and stuff. Some of these guys are like upwards of like they're in the 8 figures. Yeah. And they're trying to allocate some at the least some of them are at the least are trying to allocate like 2 million to like upwards of like maybe like 10 million. The one guy I've talked to the most, he's trying to do that much, but they're just slowly kind of DCAing in and kind of getting comfortable with Ethereum and a bunch of these other coins. So but even regardless or not, like this is how you do onboarding at the higher level. It is that whole thing, like scared money doesn't make money. Oh no, they make a lot of money, bro. Like don't even trip. You're in crypto. If you're in crypto, regardless, to them that they're making stupid money.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, where are we at? If we just talk about RH tokens for a sec, there's been over a 2x on PulseX, which is 9 years in the stock market, where a lot of these people make money routinely. And no one's really excited about that yet. So there's huge returns.
But let me tell you why, though, because it's sort of like by comparison, right? If you actually look, before I got really sick, almost every altcoin has basically done a 2x. Almost every coin's either, if they're underperforming, they're up 50% from the bottom, or at the bottom, to 80% of coins are on a 2x. So like
Yeah.
Chain's basically done the market return of all the altcoins. I mean, even fucking even AVAX. AVAX is like what $9 all time low. It's now at $20. Solana is what $14. It's at $50. That one's done a little better. You know what I mean? So it's you've done a little better with the EHEX and PHEX a little bit and stuff like that, but still like we're pretty much doing what the market returns right now, which is good. You know, we're not falling behind, we're doing pretty decent, but obviously I think our ecosystem would overperform extremely more. But we've done some decent gains in the altcoin market. And that's kind of the big differentiator in terms of like what makes us like way different from the other L1s is we actually have a thriving L1 system. Solana really doesn't right now. I mean, you have a couple small plays in the Solana ecosystem. Phantom's starting to come back, but all these are kind of like we're Virgin L1, which is this is our first cycle versus them. Most of these this is their second cycle. And because they have legacy plays and stuff like that, this is kind of what people were worried about with Hex a long time ago. It's like, what happens with all the OGs just dumping their coins, or they're just it's not that serious. But there is something to say when you have an entire ecosystem of like it's all vested out already, and it's already gone to these crazy prices. And then the other thing too is like with a lot of these virgin ecosystems, you get these really crazy all-time high prices when the coin just launched with the lowest amount of supply, right? So this is why some coins are like they went up to $22 and today they're 11 cents. You know, it's because they probably had like a tenth of the supply they do today, you know?
Well, look, I guess I've got to say, mate, like, hat off to you and shout out to you and Charlie. I think, it's often used as a bear market metric, but a lot of YouTube has disappeared. And certainly it seemed like you guys I'm getting a notification on YouTube that you guys are streaming every second day and certainly bringing lots of people into crypto in general and teaching them how to do it safely. I know you may or may not get the recognition you deserve. I know sometimes people are very narrow-minded in their choice of assets and are very critical if people talk about anything else. Do you still consider yourself, was it Litecoin Moses? You've just had a Litecoin halvening?
Yeah. I mean, I did okay. I mean, I unintentionally like this is like people like I sold a good chunk of my Litecoin at the local top, but didn't mean to. I thought I honestly that was a fluke on this time around.
You're right.
I think I sold it at like what was it 112 or something like that, and that happened to be like within $1 of the top. But what a great top, right? It was bullshit. There was no top. It was no top at all. Like it should have gone to like $200, $180. It didn't do really much. So luckily for me, I was able to rotate some of that capital into some other stuff that's done really well. So it ended up being like a pretty decent, like 3x, I guess, a 3x off the bottom to like another 2x, which not bad. It's 5 times on capital on dollars and stuff. So it ended up the trade worked out pretty well on the Litecoin trade. I'm usually can trade Litecoin really well because it's just these very broad moves, but the problem with it is just that it doesn't have that many moves, right? But they do have a lot of stuff brewing in terms of like basically they're waiting for a lot of stuff to kind of they're pretty much if you notice even with this recent Binance sort of trial, because I didn't have a chance to talk about Binance, but tons of coins have been called out for being securities. Bitcoin and Litecoin aren't securities.
Yeah, I saw that list. It's quite extensive. Even Algorand was on there, which Gensler's previously shilled on stage. It's all pretty trashy, isn't it?
Let me show you guys a little Gary Gensler for a second. Let me show how many coins, what he believes.
So we already know in the U.S. and in many other jurisdictions that 3/4 of the market are not ICOs or not what would be called securities. Even in the U.S., Canada, and Taiwan, the 3 jurisdictions that follow something similar to the Howey test that we've talked about, 3/4 of the market is non-securities. It's just a commodity, a cash crypto. So you'll hear debates about initial coin offerings and what's a security and what's not a security. Relevant and important debate. But for 3/4 of the market, it's not particularly relevant as a legal matter, as a regulatory matter. Brodish.
But I have the list right here. It's Cardano, it's Axis, it's Algorand, Atom, Ches, Conti, Dash, Filecoin, what a piece of shit. Flow, ICP, another piece of shit. Mana, Matic, Near, OMG, Sand, and Solana.
I mean, it seems like they're just throwing darts at a wall and hoping one sticks in, right? That it seems like they've probably need a bit of a win coming into, an election year and all that. I mean, this isn't something I don't know government bureaucracy that well. I certainly have starting to be, a little skeptical of sometimes the operation and decision making. And I know that conversation could deteriorate here pretty quickly. But but certainly it doesn't give you a lot of faith. I think one of the funniest things I thought from, and we'll get to Binance because I'm sure you've got a lot of thoughts on it, is when the announcement on the stage said it's due to the hard work and efficiency of I think it was the public sector. And I thought, I've been involved in the public sector and I've never seen hard work and efficiency yet. So it seemed a little bit, a bit overstated there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, they're not sure, they're doing some version of what they consider hard work, but I mean, it's kind of what Richard says, and like, everything they do is after the fact. They don't stop people from actually getting hurt at all. So it's like, once everyone's been scammed, freeze. All right, now that, like, it's kind of like way after the fact, or it completely just doesn't, nothing ends up happening with it at all. Pretty much, right?
I think a very dark line of questioning is, well, this $4 billion that you're asking CZ and Binance to hand over, who's going to get that?
Oh, no. I already know who's FTX. Basically, Democrat and Republican infrastructure money that was invested into FTX that was stolen. Yeah. Or that's exactly where it's going. Like, you guys don't even think for a fucking second that $4 billion going back to help the people who got rugged. No. The people, it's to pay back certain people and certain payments that were promised from FTX. That's exactly where it's going. That $4 billion, I would assure you, damn near $3 billion of that's going to go back into some of these senators' pockets. 100%. 100%. Sure, they'll throw some crumbs to the FTX creditors, sure, but there's like, all right, just like how Mt. Gox has happened. There's been people DMing people selling their FTX stakes and stuff. It's like, let's just say if I was owed $1 million, someone said, "Hey, Miguel, I'm going to give you 80 grand,
10 cents on the dollar."
10 cents on the dollar. Yep. $80,000, $100,000. Give me your rights. Okay. That's what's going on. So it's a bunch of the people. The longer this goes on, who's going to get paid? Fucking lawyers. Ladies, leverage, liquor, and lawyers.
Yeah, add that one.
People forget about the fourth L, right? Of the box, right? The L7, right?
So, I mean, look, I'll tell you about our experience building this platform. Sure. And, we stand in the legacy system. So we're beholden to those regulations, various pieces of both legislation and case law. And we work very closely with our legal team. But how that started off was sitting in an interview room or on a Zoom call being charged $400 an hour to explain the basics of blockchain. So we're trying to build this critical infrastructure, and we're paying a lot of money just to explain to lawyers what is actually going on so that they can assist with providing an opinion. There was even a point in the process where they were, before they had really any clue what was happening in DeFi, they were adamant we couldn't use the word contract because in smart contract, because it has its own tort definition and application within the legal system. But we're like, guys, smart contracts are a thing, and just the frustrating process of spending thousands and tens of thousands of dollars on legal fees just to have conversations about a product that was knowingly created properly, just insane. So I have no doubt. And I have looked at some of the hourly rates being charged in some of the wind downs of FTX and some of these other collapsed firms, and they're insane. With paralegals charging $900 an hour, that's unbelievable.
I mean, I'm just charging what the current market rate is. I mean, I don't see what the problem is, but apparently you have a problem with this. Like I've got kids too, and I've got to eat. And like. I sell reverse mortgages to like elderly couples. It's like I'm providing a really good service to the planet.
Yeah, we so earlier when we were first launching the beta version of our product, our financial partner was Prime Trust. Right. So we're involved in the Prime Trust liquidation. Fortunately, because of the design of our product is that fiat comes in and you straight away get your tokens on chain. We don't have users experiencing capital loss. but certainly we had some of our banking accounts that we used to facilitate that process involved. And it's just such a drawn out process, months between meetings. The first meeting, I believe, is lawyers just sitting around deciding how much they should get paid. And it really leaves very little for the users at the end of the day. I mean, we don't know what to expect, and I cringe at the thoughts of what people will ultimately get paid out from FTX. It's just awful.
So let's talk a little bit about the fundamentals here a little bit. So what are you charging people to start up an account? Because obviously, like, hey, you have to charge fees, right? You got to charge a little something, right? Because you are, starting, like, you guys are facilitating this utility here.
Yeah, sure.
So what is it? What does it cost per trend? Let's just say for $100. Obviously, I would imagine you probably give a little bigger discount for more cash. But what's like the upper limit? Like, if I wanted to put $1 million into Coast today, could I do it?
Yep, you could do $1 million. So I guess the fee structure is very simple, and most of it is applied to the minting and burning of the CST stablecoin. That's the part in the flow of funds in which the fees are charged. Now, as you're moving money into your new digital bank account, you might find that you're charged a conversion fee if you're moving from the UK to US dollars in your new US dollar bank account. But if you use, these fees are relatively small. None of them go to us. When you create an account, we don't apply a fee to you. We actually pay all the KYC fees and cover that for users. Our real goal here is just to get more economic energy on chain. We're pretty heavily invested. We think the rising tide lifts all boats. So that's really the principle. In terms of the minting and burning of CST, then there's a flat fee of 4%. That is reducible to 1% if you lock the tokens that we had in our free claim for the wait free claim process. So the majority of our users, and we have over 4,000 now, are paying a 1% platform fee. So on the minting of CST, there's a 1% mint fee.
Got it.
Now,
okay.
So if people haven't got those tokens, though, there's a higher platform fee, and that comes down with the more tokens you lock. So with 1,000 weight tokens, which is less than $1, that fee comes to 3%. For 10,000 weight tokens, it comes down to 2%, and that's less than $10. And if you have 100,000 weight tokens, it becomes 1%, and that's less than $100. So I guess users who didn't participate in the free claim, that was something that we ran just to, I guess, keep people engaged. And we always had in mind that it would be a discount feature on this platform, but we just couldn't give those expectations at the time, just on the basis of our legal advice. But it becomes a very capital efficient way to onboard to Pulse Chain, especially if you consider the fact that most centralized exchanges, at least in Australia, are charging about a 1% clip on the way in. And then you've got Ethereum gas fees, both to initiate the bridge and to send on chain, and then the swap fees on the Pulse Chain side. So our fee is, for the majority of users, 1%. Overall, that fee schedule is very modifiable because we, are operating the fee structure as a loss leader. We just really want to get money on chain. So the majority of revenue does not come from fees. In fact, it's largely a cost neutral business, just trying to bring more infrastructure to the chain.
Right. Now, are you holding? So obviously you are receiving dollars and stuff, and you're holding some of those dollars for the stable coin, obviously, right? Are any of those dollars invested into U.S. treasuries or any kind of treasuries?
Yeah, great question. And I guess where you're coming from, and we'll talk a little bit about Tether and Circle because there's been some interesting things there recently. But if you read, I guess, a Circle or a Tether attestation report, they're called, which describes an audit of their reserves, they're often held in treasuries. Variety, they usually get a company like Deloitte's to come and provide a report to holders of the collateral. With our platform, it's simply a fiat-backed stablecoin. The money is kept, again, in a Fortress Trust administered account that we don't have depository or access to or withdrawal access to. So it's the closest solution we could have to users minting their own stablecoins with their own collateral. We as a team are completely outside the flow of funds. So you take money from your new digital bank account and you simply press a button that says mint CST stablecoin. But what happens in the background is that money moves to the CST collateral account, and then you are able to mint CST. And I guess the overlaying we're saying for new users that will occur is you'll just be able to press how many US dollars you want and click buy pulse. But in the background, your money will move to a CST collateral account. These are FDIC insured accounts as well. And that will then allow CST to be minted and swapped for pulse.
Got it. Okay.
So really, just for simplicity, it's just simply a fiat-backed stablecoin. On our application, which is app.zeroxcoast.com, if you click the analytics page, it gives a real-time update on the amount of fiat held in reserves, and the stablecoin itself can't be under collateralized. You know, it'll only be 100% collateralized, or in some cases slightly over collateralized if people move money but choose not to mint their CST.
Got it. Well, that's cool. That's kind of a cool system. So I just was wondering a different avenues you guys are holding revenue, so you guys could be over collateralized and stuff like that. Because that might be something to look into maybe later on. Maybe if not, if you're just trying to stick more to the ethos of it, then definitely, yeah, maybe the way you guys are doing it is probably best. I know that's one way that Circle and Tether really make a lot of their money is just basically through treasuries, especially right now. How much they're earning off of treasuries, like 5% off of basically almost any treasury, basically.
But yeah, and it's 5% off hundreds of billions of USDC.
Right, which is
it's crazy. It's crazy. But look, I mean, to go back to your point, we're trying to do this very transparently, very simply. We understand that everyone's always a little edgy about centralized entities, but there's no real choice. If you want to take money from fiat and bring it into Pulse Chain, you have to go via a centralized entity. And we're trying to be been around for a while, trying to use some design features that everyone can understand, goes hand in hand with trying to do things, quote, the right way. We're trying to, make things as self-custodial as possible. As a team, we're outside the flow of funds. We're trying to give people, as I said, a safe and reliable way to get capital on chain. Because I mean, I guess, back to what you were saying earlier, you and Charlie and the courses you guys run, you're out there talking to everyone and you're advertising Pulse Chain. If everyone's just moving their money around on Pulse Chain and no new money's coming in, then everyone's just going to slowly, the place is just going to downtrend and have no real worth. So, opening up these pathways we think is critically important. I mean, there's a lot of days we think we'd prefer we launched a meme coin that was immutable and we could just come on live streams and make tweets. What we've done is a lot harder, but we think it's important. We think really we should be, relatively popular, and that if you are a Hex or a P Maxi, every dollar that comes in via our platform should be adding economic energy to your asset through adding it to the network in general. And if anyone's worried about holding a stable coin, it's possibly a time when people will be trending more towards risk on assets anyway, given the valuations that we've had in our ecosystem. You can simply swap your stable coin for an asset that you hold in self-custody. We've tried to design the stable coin such that it's very reliable. We've seen already more than $4 million on-ramped via CST, which we think is pretty impressive in a couple of months. I guess importantly, and for people's confidence, there's been $1.3 million off-ramped via burning CST. So the way we talked about money coming in, it can happen in reverse as well. So people can bring their CST to the platform, they can burn it, the same fee structure applies, and they receive money in their digital bank account. And so that's how the off-ramp works. It's always redeemable for $1 because it's always collateralized, and it's been relatively well stress tested. So over $1 million off-ramped, and maybe that's not the right time to be off-ramping your fiat, but we think it's a great thing that the platform's been tested so rigorously, because hopefully that'll give people some confidence.
Yeah, and is the let's just say, is the fees charged on the CST and then the dollars are just come out like on a flat number, or is it like you get charged, you take your CST, you burn it, and then from there you end up just getting the fiat minus the fee?
Yeah, that what you just said is correct. So if you burn 100 CST, you'll receive $99.
Got you. Okay.
So
Cool.
it's a relatively simple product, and you know, there's not. I know you like to do moon math. You know, we're just aiming for a 1x with CST stablecoin. There's not much excitement in our price
1x.
predictions, but but we can. But hopefully, we can contribute X's to everyone else. I mean, look, we've got bags, so you know, we just want to open up more avenues for people to bring money in, and you know that also, we think the Pulse Chain bridge is great. We hope there's more centralized exchange listings. You know, I think that everyone needs to realize that this isn't a competition. We just need pathways for money to come into this ecosystem. Interestingly, one thing I will say, DCC, because I know yourself and the group and Charlie and do a lot of investing on Ethereum, as do the users in here. People are able to move money into their digital bank account with Ethereum-based stablecoins, and the fees can be as low as 0.25%. So that's a pretty cheap fiat off-ramp for Ethereum, and we're aiming to be able to release a debit card associated with that digital bank account you open, so that would largely, I think, make it probably the cheapest off-ramp from Ethereum that I've heard of. Certainly, that's accessible to me in Australia, and we want to facilitate people bringing their capital onto Pulse Chain. But you know, for people investing on Ethereum, maybe that's a way they can find our product. It's a pretty capital efficient way to exit your position if that's your strategy.
So what made you guys even want to start this project at all? Because it seems like a huge undertaking anyway. Like you're right. Like you could have just made a meme coin.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
Look, it's funny. This has been in the pipeline the whole time. But as to your point, you know, we'd run the weight free claim, and it was always the fiat on ramp was always what we were building and what we had been working on at the same time. But when we announced to people we were building a fiat on ramp, you know, we were really proud of that. But there was quite a significant chunk of people like, oh, we just want it to be weight staking, seemingly for some other shit coin. Come on, guys! Like, we're building serious financial infrastructure. But look, I
don't want to hear you. I want to make money. Sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah. But yeah, so look, I think we, you know, and I'll hat tip to Stoic here, even though I guess the way that friends in Australia work is they usually give each other shit rather than compliments. But you know, it was his vision very early to say, let's build a fiat on ramp, and he didn't stop talking about it for a while. And certainly, I think it's been a good decision because, you know, with OKX being lost, and you know, it's certainly, I think, good for users to have an avenue to come on. And to your point, it is hugely difficult. It's at times very frustrating, but someone's got to do it, right? You know, if we all sit around and hope someone else does something, and we see a lot of that, especially during the bear market, at some point, someone's got to stand up and do the difficult things. Otherwise, all we'll be doing is standing around looking at each other, making excuses. So this just happens to be what we're doing. You know, we hope it's useful to people, and we hope people, you know, choose to use it if it fits with, you know, what they like. But yeah, it's there's no doubt difficult, but I guess you got to do something every day, right?
No, definitely. I want to give a big shout out to Maddie, man. Thank you, man. Maddie sent a bunch of people over here earlier. I just forgot to tell him to say thank you, brother. But I'm guessing with a debit or credit card, it's going to be like a Visa, I'd imagine.
So we're not a long way down the pathway, you know, with that plan. I think we're in the market phase as well as the development cycle of this platform, that we're trying to just maximize money coming onto chain at the moment. When we have some of those newer features we've talked about, and we're also looking at incorporating new payment processes that will make some other things even easier as well. You know, once we've got the model as good as we can get it for getting economic energy onto Pulse Chain, I guess that's when we'll start to rotate onto bringing in, you know, a card that you can use at the shops. But yeah, that'll certainly be the idea, is that people can off ramp their fiat via CST, and they can spend USD on you know, buying their goods and services. Because you know, this is the reality, right? You know, salaries are typically paid in fiat, goods and services are charged in fiat. So whilst we like to have our money in DeFi, you know, everyone off ramps from time to time. So we certainly want that available for everyone.
You definitely have a moat compared to other players. I know there's like the other stable coin that's going to come out pretty soon is probably going to be liquid loans, and that's really the only other like Pulse Chain-ish competitor really outside of that. Let me think. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
and
you have
look,
you have a nice moat because you guys have done the actual physical middleman, connecting the brackish water part, which most people will not do at all.
oh, look, and I can totally understand why people don't want to. We'd encourage anyone else who wants to go and do this to go right ahead. We don't view it as competition. We're glad that we exist. I mean, USDL, and I know the Power City guys are going to make PXDC, both forks of liquidity. That they'll be really useful stable coins. But the reality is you can't spend USDL at a shop. So while you can de-risk into one of these DeFi native stablecoins, and that's excellent, you'll be able to use those for other passive income strategies, liquidity providing, whatever. We really, as we said, need to be able to touch the real world because we, at the moment, I still buy a car with cash. I don't have a Lambo, but and I'll probably never have
Barter?
one. What's that?
You don't barter?
Look, it depends. Sometimes with the neighbours, we'll swap 6 beers for an hour of their electricity.
Right. Generator. Can you lend your Witcher a gallon of diesel, please? Bro, you guys don't use gallons. You guys use liters, right?
Yeah, we're all metric over here. I can't understand how you guys stick to imperial, but I know that's a passionate topic for Americans, so
Yeah.
I won't give you too much grief on it.
Yeah, it's just well, I'm not gonna get into it, but obviously, what side I stand, the right
But
side.
tell me about tell me about how you onboard people. I know that you guys onboard a lot. I wonder. I sort of anticipate that part of the reason you started the crypto mindset course was essentially to create a business around what you were doing for free for so many people all the time. Anyway, Stoic and I onboarded a lot of people to Pulse Chain. We ran sort of a sacrifice syndicate for, I guess, a cool way to rebrand a pool. But certainly that had such a high lift in teaching people the basics of DeFi. But yeah, tell me about it.
I mean, basically, what happened was, it's kind of in a way, yeah, you're right. We're kind of doing away. What was going on is like we had just started a YouTube. Charlie had his YouTube channel already open since like 2019. I started mine in 2020, and Charlie may have had it a little bit earlier than that. I think I had a podcast way before. I had Crypto Gamble podcast, and then Dollar Cost. That's where I got my name. Dollar Cost Crypto is from my rebrand of my podcast. My podcast got taken down from Apple iTunes. I don't know why, and so I had to restart a brand new one. So I just call it Dollar Cost Crypto. I was still Litecoin Moses on YouTube, and then basically as a bull market, we're pretty affiliated with just for not any financial reason, not any reason at all, just personal reasons. We were really big in the red pill space. I've been following like Rollo Tomasi and Mystery and all these guys for the original people, Royce, Rusi and stuff like that. All these guys, all the original R's and stuff from the Manosphere, I was pretty good friend. I became friends with John MLD and then Charlie, and from there we're just helping people out. People are inviting us on streams, and so we're kind of like the money, muscles, game, frame is kind of the big four, right? Those are the big four things in terms of the Manosphere or the red pill. And I don't like saying Manosphere; it sounds like a gay club. But it does, bro, like the Manosphere. But pretty much, we were doing all that stuff right there, and we were pretty much the money side. So we've always called ourselves the money, the red pill of money, or the money red pill side. And there's real estate, stocks, businesses, and crypto. We're the new sector. So by de facto, me and Charlie became the leaders of the entire crypto side. And still to this day, we are the red pill side. So we've been around educating people, helping people on board on that side. And pretty much as the bull market continued on, everyone's like, what the hell is this crypto stuff? And then it's kind of like everyone starts looking through the Rolodex and starts going like, who do we have here to talk about stuff? And then like, oh, there's Miguel and Charlie. Hey, come on board, bro. Talk to us about it. So we started onboarding all the major YouTubers, and then we just start, we're doing this all for free. We're just helping people out, we help Fresh and Fit. We have Myron and Walter and stuff like that. We all
I've seen you with those guys. Yeah,
those are homies, and so we're going to be there in December as well. We're going to be there pretty soon in Miami. We're doing a bunch of podcasts. We're going to go on Saucecast pretty soon. I think Dan's a project. We're going to do on a bunch of brand new shows this time around. there's a couple other shows we're going to go on, but I don't want to say the names just yet, just because they're not booked yet. But we're doing some pretty big shows. We're also going to be doing some shows with some pretty big crypto channels as well. I'll tell you off air and stuff like that, some pretty big channels and stuff where we were onboarding. We're also doing a lot of network connections inside the crypto space. And basically, we didn't come from crypto. We came from like the red pill, and we always had this financial slant and stuff. We're like, both me and Charlie are like salesmen for the most part. You know, I did a lot of door-to-door sales and a lot of in-person sales and stuff. I had a landscape business. Charlie was a corporate recruiter, and from there we were able to use these sales skills to actually talk to people, and we were able to onboard people really easily. I mean, it was like just like it's I mean, the pitch pretty much goes is like, I mean, if you want to be poor, stay in stocks. I mean, go ahead. I mean, you want to be rich when you're fucking old. I mean, stay in. And I wouldn't even say rich. I would say just maintaining whatever lifestyle you had before. That's all stocks. I mean, half the time when you're talking to financial, because I was actually going to work for Fidelity at one point when I was really younger, and what ended up happening is I was interning at Fidelity, and what happened at Fidelity is this is around the 2008, 2009 stock market crash. And I literally saw all these people when I was in high school, I saw these guys were like really professional, acting really cool with each other. And what ended up happening is that, in 2009, when I graduated high school, I was interning, I was checking out the offices and stuff, and they were all backstabbing each other for clients and stuff because the stock market was crashing. Oh my God, you believe Tom led you astray. This is why you prefer. I told you you should have came with me. So I saw a lot of people poaching each other. I saw white collar crime in action.
Yeah, it's so toxic, isn't it?
Oh, dude, it's horrible, man. It's what really led me into having a physical business and kind of not going into that trade and stuff like that. I believe it or not, I almost was about to sell insurance and stuff like both me and my brother. My brother was really good friends with the #1 insurance agent in the state of California. He always would come in. He'd always come in to like get coffee and stuff. My brother ran like Starbucks and stuff back in the day, and I literally almost sold insurance with this guy and stuff for a while too. So it was kind of crazy how that life, no matter what, I would have came into some sort of version of finance. But
you were always into finance. Yeah. Isn't it interesting? Because, as I was mentioning, we sort of, when Pulse Chain was being organized, we said, we have to tell everyone about this. We have to get everyone in, because it becomes, do you tell nobody so that none of your friends and family and extended contacts feel disappointed that they weren't tapped on the shoulder, or do you tell everybody? So we told everybody. And by the end of it, I felt like I had the deadliest sales pitch. I felt like I was always a little worried sitting down with someone that I'd have a chat to them and explain to them what I felt the opportunity was, and that they wouldn't be able to control themselves. It's funny. The more times you do it, you just get a really, slick conversation, and you really, as you start to look behind the curtain, and I'm interested to, hear about your own financial education. It's funny to see what different people's risk tolerances are, what their cash flows are like. I've been reading a book called The Cash Flow Quadrant recently. I sort of cycle through a handful of books, but less about which quadrant and less about the diagrammatic flow of money, but just I think what struck me the most was how it just sort of tells you it is a profound shift in your mindset to move to a different side. It's not, you don't apply the same, invest in index funds, put away a little bit of your money, save a lot of your money in a bank account, middle-class mindset that we are all given at school.
Yeah.
If you want to succeed financially in the long term, and definitely within crypto, and just that real shift in your mindset, I think, certainly happened for me. I certainly see it in others. I can hear it for you. It really is profound, though, isn't it? When you start to view the way to make money not in just working more. I remember Stoic used to tell me that my job and my time didn't scale, and if I wanted more money, I'd have to work more, which is exactly what happens. And I used to message him going, "Fuck, mate, fuck you. I'm just learning my time doesn't scale because I just have to work more overtime to get more money." But certainly these concepts in what would be considered to most people alternate financial education, it's certainly pretty powerful.
Definitely. I mean, the most powerful thing I think I learned in 2021, and onwards is scale. I'd never understood scale. Like, you think you understand scale until it happens to you, and then you're like, holy shit, man. I mean, obviously, like, that's one of the big headaches I had. Like, I did grow my regular business to like $1 million business, but it should have been 10, it should have been 10, 20, 15, $30 million business, but I couldn't scale it. I just couldn't scale it. I couldn't get operators, and the margins were just really thin and stuff. So it's like, it was just like I was between a rock and a hard place where I'd have to be doing like illegal, like I'd have to be doing just illegal hires essentially in order to make it scalable, which is just, it wasn't possible basically. Right. So I already knew my business was already kind of scaled out at the time. I think now what I know now about social media, I probably could have rolled it into half a social media, like landscape, YouTube and all this other stuff. And I probably would have got the 8-figure mark by now.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, they're popular, right?
They're getting popular now, but that didn't really exist back. I always thought in my back of my head, I could just you can YouTube anything really. I mean, if you're like, that's gonna be the next wave in the next 4 or 5 years. I mean, me and Waller were talking about this. I think before, when I first met Justin Waller, he was talking about making a book, and we had talked about a lot of stuff about blue collar things. And he says in the next 10 years, I think it's a little sooner than that. I think in the next 5 years, it's going to be a big hit. Like, after we get the next crash, it's going to be the next wave that's going to happen is after this next pump we get and the next dump. I'm coming from the dump that happens. It could be maybe in like early 2030s, maybe the late 2020s. We're going to start getting a bunch of like these guys where like the whole business model is basically, YouTube plus whatever your blue collar business is, and it's going to be the way to get rich. Effectively, it's going to be the next wave, and we're not that far. I mean, I see it now, and I knew about it. Like, I felt it since like early 2010s, basically. But there's this whole thing too, where like a lot of you guys watching today are afraid. Like, I tell you guys, go YouTube, go put yourself out there. The more people that know you, the richer you're going to be. And it isn't just off of like, oh, I'm gonna make money off of users. It's just the more people that know who you are, the more opportunities you have for something to happen. It's like a lotto ticket. Like, every person that knows you, it's a lotto ticket, and you just don't know what good things could happen to you because of these people knowing you. It's like
you're
that.
Absolutely right. You might get a tap on the shoulder. Hey, have you heard about this opportunity? And you would never have otherwise. So there's no doubt. And I find it, I mean, I mix with quite a lot of different people for reasons for crypto and others, but I'm fascinated by people who are just at the top level of their various industries. I find it so interesting to talk to them, whether it be pilots or tradies or, lawyers or, engineers, people who are just masters of their job. I love hearing about it. And, you certainly get those opportunities if you put yourself out there to surround yourself with, super interesting people who are, great at their craft.
Shout out to Mel. Mel did her own landscaping and everything. That's hilarious. Oh my God. But
so look, I guess one other thing I wanted to bring up recently, I saw that I think it was Tether froze a couple of $100 million a couple of days ago. Pretty scary stuff, like I know there was a story that, the users of that stablecoin were associated with this or that, but it makes you worry, what story will be told about yourself as an individual. I don't mean you, DCC. I just mean any of us. We deliberately we don't have the ability to do that with the CST stablecoin. If someone knocks on our door, we're unable to freeze anyone's address or invalidate anyone's tokens, but it's a big chunk of change, and it's happening a lot with Tether. There's a Twitter bot now that tweets about it every time it happens, and it's pretty crazy.
Well, it's just because, I mean, it's just they've gotten so big, and there's like two big players. I mean, there's just Bitfinex and fucking Circle. That's it. Circle's about to go public next year. Yeah. People don't even know that. Like that. I mean, depending on what Circle might be the all-time high. Just like come back to this, but like Circle could be the all-time high and stuff for the next IPO cycle or like IPO sort of spring and stuff. If it ends up lagging up to 25, and that's when the market's hot, that could be the all-time high right there. When that goes public and stuff. But this time around, I've had a cycle theory where like it's a 2-cycle theory where like the first cycle is more of a early adapter developer, sort of like early pioneer cycle, and then the second's a retail. And like we've had this already. So it's like the 2013-14 cycle was an early developer. Basically, they created the vaporware shitcoins. And then 2017 was a culmination of that. So you end up having like the retail version of that, which a lot of us on board, even myself, I was onboarded in that cycle as well, like 2016. And now we've had the 21 cycle, right? Which is basically we created DeFi. Because before that, anyone who was in previous cycles, all you could do with crypto is send it, leave it on exchanges, or if you're savvy enough, you knew how to put it in a wallet. That's it. There was no staking, there was no yield farming, there was no dexes, there was no Aves, there was no leverage trading on it. I mean, there wasn't even really much even leverage trading on exchanges. Really, there wasn't stable coin. There was nothing. So
how do you see this cycle playing out?
It's going to be retail side. We're probably institutions. Like if I tell you, like, between retail and institutions and like larger players have way more crypto than regular guys now. Now, not like, but you have to look at it as a macro, as an overall, right? Us as a micro, like this, we have like 200 people live watching us right now. You guys are probably the most not overdeveloped, but over allocated sector of retail on the planet. Basically, this 200 people here watching right now, you guys, in terms of just net worth and everything, you guys have more crypto than just about fucking almost anybody. Like, you guys have comparable like crypto compared to millionaires right now, even though it doesn't feel like you feel broke or you feel like, oh, I'm doing okay, right? But like, just because most people, like, you know, they play this kind of like, oh, only 10%. Like in the next 20 years, it's going to be like you're fucking retarded for not having 20% of your entire net worth in crypto as an asset class or something. Like, it's going to be that big at that point, you know. They'll be more conservative, but like the average person is going to have 20, 30, because crypto is going to be more broadened over time over the next 20 years, where, you know, you have, you know, you're going to have crypto stocks, crypto real estate, crypto itself, currencies. And, you know, you not having at least 20% allocated in that sector is just insane, basically, right?
I certainly think so. Anytime I use a traditional financial product, I sit back. I've got young children, and I think there is zero chance that they won't be using blockchain payment rails when they're adults. You know, why would you ever send money to England using this shit old system that we have currently? If I can send it on Ethereum in 10 seconds, on other networks in far less, you know, Pulse Chain for almost free in 10 seconds, you know, clearly the technology is going to be widely adopted. Obviously, I think we have, you know, relatively manipulative mainstream media, so people aren't really getting the opportunity to learn. I actually found myself feeling really fortunate that someone actually sat down and spoke to me about what cryptocurrency is, because everything I read in mainstream media is, look at these guys over here with their dog coin that's gone down 80%. And, you know, if you're a busy guy working 50 hours a week trying to support your family, you don't have time to deep dive on this. And why would you take that first step? Because I just think people are really having their information brought to them in a very curated and manipulative way. Because I speak to people all the time and they say, geez, you're a really sensible guy. Why are you talking about crypto? And I think, Jesus, how are you not over here with at least a bit of your time? I think one of the benefits of investing and getting some decent returns in crypto is it affords you more time. So you're able to actually spend some time rather than just working all the time, trying to pay your bills, your mortgage, operate your family. It actually gives you some time to sit down and go, what is happening over here? What's happening in this ecosystem? What's happening with this product, this platform, whatever? It's, you know, it's certainly afforded me time to think about other opportunities rather than just being in the, you know, going 100 mile an hour in the grind.
So, I mean, a part of it too, like Maud just said right there, man, people are stupid, and I agree, it's for sure. But also too, like if I'm trying to be sort of sympathetic or try to like really think like, all right, let me really think of what that other person's going through. I know exactly what's going on is that they're struggling so hard to make any money at all that they have to be for sure whatever they put money into is a for sure thing. And that's the thing, is like, this is why risk takers control the world, right? Like, this is why Americans are so crazy compared to the rest of the world. I mean, the rest of the world thinks America. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you guys are kind of people from Australia are kind of, you guys are kind of the American, like we're all kind of like from the same, I mean, UK obviously, right? But, you know, you guys were all the fucking prisoners and stuff more or less that were put over there. And then in Australia, at least that's the origin of it, right?
Well, it's funny. Like you know, England was overcrowded, so they sent all our ancestors by boat to this beautiful big island where we have, you know, less than 60 days of rain a year. We've got all this open space, all these wonderful beaches, and we were the criminals, and we're thriving. So, we're doing okay.
Yeah. So like in terms of like what I was trying to get at with that is just like you have like there's a lot of risk takers in Australia, but also I mean a lot of midwits, of course. The same thing here in the States. I mean, you have a bunch of fucking idiots in the United States as well. But if you look at it right, if you like land of immigrants, right? So you got to think of like my parents are immigrants, right? But you got to think that they left their home country, came over here, and just to think just think how lazy and how dumb people are. Just imagine the risk taking that it's like, hey, I'm gonna uproot my whole life. I know my whole family, my cousins, aunts, uncles,
Huge.
my grandfather, like everybody's over here. Fuck it, I'm gonna leave and just go somewhere else and stuff. That is insane.
Balls of steel too.
It's balls of steel, right? And at all levels, right? Whether you came on a boat, whether you land like criminal land bridge or whatever, and you ended up doing. I mean, just that level of just those type of people, just to take that level of risk is insane. And that this is what gives like America its edge. I think Australia as well, and it also like this is why like a lot of people like. A lot of expats or people who are like, digital nomads, they make so much money is because they're willing to travel around the world. Like it's not that risky once you kind of figure the math out and you've got some income coming in and stuff like that. But it's like, you need a risk. I mean, I'm here in Vegas. I mean, we gamble. I mean, we're gamblers. We have to take shots and shit. And I don't think this is something that I've said that like, it took me a while because like, that I learned, I mean, one good thing I did learn from gambling a little bit was just like how to take a calculated risk and like, also like, fuck it. Like if I lose, I lose or whatever. It is what it is. Right. But to take those shots and stuff. And that's really like helped me because I was very skittish sort of guy. Like I was like, I need to make this prop because I was in that mindset for a long time of like, it's costing me so much to earn this money. Like you're like the whole thing is like you're spending your money to take a shot to grow more money versus like I'm spending this money on bitches or I'm spending this money on rims or something stupid. If you're not doing that and you're spending your money on an investment or to take a shot or to open a business, you keep taking those shots.
Yeah, 100%.
And it ends up improving your life like to a crazy extent, So, but that's the sort of thing is like people. This is the sad part of life is like when right now the risk it's like, oh, crypto's dead, right? I don't want to put money into it. I'm scared right now, like because like sure it's like if right now Bitcoin because like we're so close, like right now like Bitcoin's what $30,000 plus. Let me check the price right now. Bitcoin right now is $37,000. We are fucking like less than a 2x away from the all-time high.
Yeah.
Like we're basically at the all-time high. Like, what are we talking about? Like, the thing is, this is what people are so dumb about this shit but people only want to get in when it's guaranteed because they want fast money, right? And they need money now, right? So, but the thing is like, where else like besides a business and stuff, like most people, whatever you're putting your money into, you're putting your money into nothing. Like nothing you guys end up putting your money, like you can, so saving money to have economic energy stored up so you can do something, that's good, right? So I'm not saying don't save money, but after that, what ends up happening is that people that save a lot of money, typically you end up using it to spend it on something like in terms of just lifestyle with stock market, like stock market's not going to return that much to you. Real estate could be a good play for you and stuff like that. But the thing is prices are going to coming down because interest rates could go even higher or slowly going to go down, but they are not going to go to any lower level, and it's going to take like 2 years plus for real estate to kind of really bounce back. Money isn't real, you guys. Money isn't real.
It's I think like a question when I think about people's risk tolerance. Now, obviously, people have basic needs, and they absolutely need to be met. We had people that we didn't realize were leveraged, waiting for the Pulse Chain mainnet launch, who all of a sudden found themselves.
No, what are you talking about, bro?
We'd sit down with people and say, no leverage, have a think about how much, you want to allocate. We think this is an opportunity that's worth being aware of. And over I don't know how long it was 2 weeks for a long time. But, we didn't realize we'd have people ringing us saying, no, we've done all this on loans, which is obviously insane. But, if you've got your basic needs met, I think it can be a very profound question to say, how much money does it really take to change my life, change my relationship to work? And how much money does it really take to guarantee that I have more time? And versus the opposite, how much do I need to lose such that I can no longer put food on the table for my family? And if people are a bit cash flow positive with their work, I think there's a lot of upside with not as much downside investing in these digital assets.
Yeah. Now everyone's in a different position, right? Because like this is the one shit that always cracked me up about like listening to some of these shows about finance and stuff. It's always like a lot of the people who call into the shows, or a lot of people who have their entire life already pretty put together, like
Mm.
either came from a silver spoon and they had the ability to go to college, was paid for, all that and stuff, and they're financially set, or you have guys that are like these like borderline, like I would say almost sociopaths, where like they saved every dollar, misers, and they're able to invest
Yeah.
every single dollar. But like that's the shit that kind of pissed me off, is like you either had to be a miser or you came from a really well off family that kind of told you what to do already. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, my dad takes care of it. And I know quite a big bunch of YouTubers were like, I don't know, I just let my dad handle it.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, and it's a lot of females and guys that do that and shit, and they're not really taking care of their own shit.
You know, it's interesting. Like I am very fortunate that I come from a good family. You know, always was looked after. Still have their support now. You know, I was very much though given a very simple financial plan, and that was to work really hard to pay off your house as fast as you can, and to anything left over, you know, put a bit of money into index funds. And that's that's very honourable. That was very intelligent, and from the part of society I grew up in, that was reaching very high. But it's interesting when you move over to crypto and you start to learn a different financial education. It does shift the goalposts, and it does change the strategy. And there's a comment about people being dumb. I feel like I was, whatever level of intelligence or lack of intelligence I am now, I was also that before I found out about crypto. I just wasn't aware. And for whatever reason, I hadn't pulled on that thread to see where it would go to when I had heard about Bitcoin but was busy working. So it's really interesting. And I know that you're a fan of Robert Kiyosaki's. I think you guys have a personal relationship, but it really is, it really isn't taught in schools as to, his famous words. People really aren't given a financial education.
It's on purpose as well. This is worldwide, so people don't understand. So people don't understand compound interest or any of that stuff. Now, Mel here says skip college and indoctrinate. That is true, but I mean, I will say this though. Like, I've met people who, like, there's kind of these grifts of like, here's the thing, like, not everyone's at the same wavelength yet, and there's some people that are like me, right? Like, I always knew I wanted to get into something about money or finance, but I just didn't know what. And even me, who was like had a finance sort of like mindset, still was lost for years because I just didn't know where to like make income and everything like that. And a lot of times, like, the thing is, like, I'm not saying college is bad, but like I do sort of see it as a way, like, college is a good incubator in terms of just to kind of get a little older, to grow up, and as well as take the pressure off some kids. But because I know a lot of people, like, you hear a lot of stuff like, oh, you just let's go straight to college and stuff like that. That happens a lot now today, but you'd be surprised back in the day, like the colleges were way more difficult to get into, and people would just not would have to go to community college. I think community college is pretty much one of the biggest wastes of time ever, outside, unless you're literally becoming like a nurse or you're going something very specific. But because it's sort of a fake promise where, like, you're going to be spinning your wheels, you're not going to be working as much to try to get a trade or anything like that, and you're going to be like, most of the times you're going to community college because you just couldn't just go straight to college anyway, right? And there's a financial reason. Some of the people were like, there's a financial reason why you're going to do that, but most people who are going to community colleges are going to community colleges because they just they missed prerequisites in order to go to college in the first place. And then they tell you, oh, you're going to go to community college for 2 years, and then you transfer off to a right school. That's if you're already like weren't behind on anything on the college level. But if you were behind, it's going to be 3.5 to 4 years, and then you can transfer off. And it's this huge amount of like wasted time and stuff. Like, yeah, they steal your youth, and you end up spinning your wheels. You're just like, you're lying. I saw this so much and stuff. Now I can't speak to like other races, but like I saw a lot in the Latino community. I saw it in the African American community, that this happened quite a lot too, where like they were just going to these community colleges, and it's just a big waste of fucking time, because it's like sort of like, here, you're still going to college, you're going to go to school, you're not a failure, and then you're wasting all this time. By the time you look back, you're 22, you still haven't gone to college, and it's just like you wasted all this time that you could have gone. Like, literally, those people would have been probably better off in. And this is some sad shit to say, they probably would have been better off just getting accepted to a college and just doing the 4 years and at least being in debt and at least having a degree, or at least being on the route to it, or they would have dropped out and at least say like, well, I went to my, it's like the finality is more important, I think. Now it's probably not PC to say that because debt's evil and all this other crap, but there is something to like having that chapter of your life over versus this promise. It's coming. Don't worry, bro. It's coming. You're going to go to college, right? Versus like you go to college and you're like, fuck, I can't do this. I quit. But like, let's just say like, oh fuck, I went to UC Berkeley. I couldn't. It just wasn't for me, and I left. At the very least, they're like, oh, I went to UC Berkeley. I just didn't. It just wasn't for me. It's that's part of your like the closure, and they're because like just like Robert Kiyosaki and just like what's his name Dave Ramsey sort of says, like there's a psychological version of it, like the snowball method, right? Where like there's the economic, there's like the fastest way possible to do it, the math way to do it, and then there's the emotional way. A lot of the time, like we're all emotional creatures. It's the emotional side that ends up being the way you end up actually doing it, right? So like you can literally like think about this. You're 18 years old, you go to school, you go 2 years to Berkeley, you fucking drop out because you dropped out, and now you got to figure something out. Now you're at 20 years old, 20 and a half, and you at least put yourself around people that were on a higher level, at least in that college sense. And now you've met some people, maybe some of those people, you can use some of those contacts, and then now you're trying to change your life versus you're 22 years old, still trying to go to community college, trying to go to school, you fail, you feel like a failure. And then for the next 3, 4, 5 years, you got this social anxiety, or you have this fucking like failure mentality that you like, where like you could have had this extra years to kind of fumble around. And then, because imagine that, like you're 20 years old, you drop out, you feel like a fucking loser for 2 years. And then at 22, you're really trying to get a job and they're still early versus 25, 26, 27, you're barely coming out of that
100%.
That's and then people don't talk about that. Like there's a huge mental hangover, and there's a huge like guilt trip that tons of people are going through because of just that, of just like, fuck, I got to do that. Now obviously if you're doing like women's studies and stuff, you're retarded, or basket weaving or anything like that. But like but most people are like, if you're trying to get a nursing degree, beautiful. If you're trying to do like anything, engineering, like you're going for the right degrees more or less and stuff.
There's clearly industries that benefit from tertiary education, but there's a whole racket there where there's fees being generated and long-term debt for degrees that just offer nothing to the individual or the society. Right. I agree with you totally. It's funny, I've got a mate who, he finished school. His father said to him, mate, you need to go and buy this house. Whatever you need to do, we're going to put someone in it. You need to earn enough money to pay the extra, and then you go off and enjoy your life. And it's funny how setting those things up early, you talked about compound interest, and I guess just early investment in, good assets is important as well. The people I know, and I left school 20 years ago, the people I know who left school and worked in unskilled jobs or simply worked at the local checkout, they bought houses that are very nice and are worth a lot of money now, and they have very little mortgage stress. It's often the people who spent 6 to 8 years in tertiary education, are then in debt, are still unable to really penetrate the real estate market for their primary house. They're struggling, and they've sort of done, quote, the right thing and been sort of moderate to high achievers. And from a financial point of view, they're burning out in their careers and they're still wrecked. Which really sucks, right? It's really unfortunate because these people have worked hard, but just probably been a little misguided. But I get it. High school sets you up for university largely in a lot of places.
Yeah, we're playing we're playing the download. I mean, we're playing like the pre-download to like college and stuff. The whole time you're getting indoctrinated to go to school, but school for what? I mean, like the trade, we should be promoting more trade schools and stuff like that. And I mean, really, that's what we really need. We need apprenticeship programs and trade schools. That's probably what we really need in here in America, and probably across the world. Realistically, the reason college worked back in the day is because it was kind of an IQ test, where basically not as many people went to college. So if you went to college, at the very least, it showed us proficiency of intelligence, and this ended up giving you a job. Because I remember my teacher. Do you believe this shit? Like, I went to school. This is legit. This is real shit. I got told this back in 2006. Just go get an English degree and stuff. Like, you make $100,000 a year with an English degree.
Wow.
Bro, wait, here we go.
You didn't have to cut me off. Make out like it never happened and that we were nothing. I don't even need your love, but you treat me like a stranger and I feel so rough. No, you didn't have to stoop so low. Have your friends collect your records and then change your number. I guess that I don't need that though. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know.
What kind of bullshit that is? Like, I remember teachers telling me, like, yeah, just get an English degree and you're gonna make $100,000 a year minimum.
Yeah, that's insane. I believe it. I heard things like that when I was younger. I know so many people who've done similar things. It's crazy.
Bro, I don't think
Absolutely
there's a
crazy.
single degree you can get, like, outside of what nursing, maybe some high level engineering if you're, or maybe computer science or something, like you get lucky with a job or off the rip or something. Like, there's almost nothing you can get out of college you instantly, unless you already kind of hooked up from the company already or your family. There's nothing you can do out of college you're going to get $100,000 a year. There's nothing. Zero.
I've heard this before. So it's not my original idea, but you know, with everyone wanting to be digital nomads and you know, a lot of people, you know, when I was a kid, no one was talking about wanting to be an influencer. That just wasn't a thing. But I think it'll rotate back to the manual professions will become highly valued. They'll have they were, in Australia, tradies, tradespeople, they earn a lot of money already. But, it's really valuable service that they're bringing. And I wonder if there's as many people going into those kinds of things after school. So I think because of the degrees and the stuff that you're talking about, so I think they'll have a real second coming and they deserve it,
No, it's a pendulum, and the reason, if you actually look at it, right, I shouldn't have made as much money as I did in the trades for what I knew, because I knew the only thing, the one bonus I did have is like all my family members were at least in some trade, and they all ran their businesses like at small scale, so there was that level of I guess I don't know, nepotism you call it, but like more or less just like there's a path. I saw it, like entrepreneurial path, like every man in my family was a business owner. So in my head, I was like, I mean, I didn't really want to work for anybody at all anyway, because it's like, oh, what the fuck, all my uncles and all my father were all jefes, they're all bosses. So they were all bosses. So in my head, it was like, either I'm just gonna make my own business and be my own boss, and but that means didn't have employees and stuff like that, or I was going to end up doing something very different compared to the rest of the family and stuff. There was no in between, basically, right? So
yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting because I always was an employee, and it's only been through crypto. And if going back to, I guess, Robert Kiyosaki's sort of quadrants, it's only been able to coming over to being an investor on the side. It's only been that market and that asset class that's made that possible. I was very much given a traditional education and was becoming had always been an employee. And that's the majority of people. So, I mean, it goes to show that, your upbringing and being surrounded by people with a different mindset to what I was surrounded in has given you those natural tendencies.
Yeah, because
I really wasn't exposed to them.
It's monkey see, monkey do, but that's kind of the beauty. That's why I'm so passionate about the cash flow quadrant from Robert Kiyosaki, which is the the capital class. And this is why I say the capital class, because it doesn't matter whether you're an employee or you're a specialist or you're business owner and stuff like that, just because those three of the four quadrants. And then there's the investor, which is I call it the capital class. Every single person, doesn't matter what part of the quadrant you're in terms of your income, you can be a part of that capital class. And we're in this is probably one of the last times we're in this, I think we have like two more bull markets in crypto where crypto really goes crazy, and then from there it gets a little more difficult for you to make gains. You have to be very early on. I'm not really worried about you guys and myself and stuff, because we'll be able to figure it out, and we'll be able to be in the bear markets, we'll be looking for the brand newest coin or ecosystem. So we're going to be fine. But for the average person, it's going to get harder and harder for them to make gains, basically, because the gains are still going to be there. They're just going to be it's going to be less parabolic gains. So we're in right now before the big institutional money, before the big 401k money gets in. So we're going to get this is why I think we're going to end up having I would call it a retail cycle this time around, which is going to be really great. I think the prices are going to surprise everybody. And Man, it's gonna be beautiful. I can't wait and stuff like that. But thank you for Stealthy Juice Man for the $10 super chat. W Guest from Crypto Fever dropping heat. W Miguel, W Wilo. Thank you, brother. And yeah, let me get a couple of the super chats, man. JJ Beats, man. Do you think Gala Games will hit $1? Yeah, I think it will. I think it will. They still got to deal with all their little lawsuits and stuff, but I don't think it'll lag behind you. People have a time to accumulate Gala. And shout out to Trader Z's, Trader Season, man. What's going on with the 20 euros? What's up, G? Big G and stuff like that. Trader Z's a big guy on Twitter and stuff. You guys don't follow him, give him a follow and stuff like that. He's got some interesting stuff he talks about and stuff. So pretty big guy over there, red pill guy. But which means everyone needs to take your class ASAP. Yeah, take the class. I will be definitely doing the next crypto mindset course. Might be going live in December, and we might be doing the classes in January, somewhere like that. So
we send a heap of our guys there. They love it.
Yeah, we educate.
You've got a Citadel chat, I think it's called. We've got our guys in there. They love it, mate. You guys are doing a really good job. We appreciate it. They call us less for help, which is awesome.
Dude, I appreciate it.
Oh, no, Charlie said this. I'm like, oh, fuck, righto. Charlie or DCC said this. But no, look, I guess to echo the point you just made, you know, I don't know what the price of Hex is going to be tomorrow. I don't know what the price of Bitcoin is going to be next week. But it feels to me like if people can find a way to earn more money, and I'm not going to go and quote Michael Saylor, but if they can find the ability to earn some more money, this whole, you know, crypto and digital assets in general, I think in 5 to 10 years' time, people will be happy they made the efforts now. I feel like the crypto market cycle's a gift. You know, you can be working hard right now and buying assets for cents on the dollar because no one's here. What I think becomes difficult as a friend, someone who onboards people is, you know, let's say, you know, 2025, late, mid, maybe 2026, we start to hit peak euphoria. I think that's probably a reasonable time estimate. You know how you have that conversation with someone you care about who says, I want to come and get into crypto.
I'm just
think, shit, man, like,
bro.
You're going to get wrecked.
Because I've been in the market enough times now and enough cycle, like, because there's a difference between being in the cycle and then leading people and then leading a cycle. So like last cycle was the first cycle where like me and Charlie were leading a large amount of people. This time it's not our first time around the rodeo. This is our third cycle now. And, you know, there's a lot of people who this time around who are starting their own little groups, and they're probably going to get a lot of the people wrecked, but it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
And, not everyone's going to get wrecked. A lot of people are going to make money. The early guys, the guys when you first start off your products or you first start off your stuff are going to make a lot of money because they have more time to acclimate to the sector. And the problem is too, is like, you know, you're as I don't know, I don't want to say any names and stuff just because I don't want to badmouth anybody, but like, let's just say you have a Patreon or you have like some sort of group, and where are you going to get the most amount of people? During the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Just by nature of the fact that people are coming to you means it's probably a top.
Yeah. And so whatever, make a multiple. Let's just say you have 80 people, 50 people in your group. Probably at the top, you're going to have 500.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you hit 1,000 for a little bit if you're really hitting on socials like crazy. And then it's going to crash really bad. And then I would say 80%, not 80%, let's just say 60% of them are going to do bad because they just don't have enough time in the market. It's not your fault. And you're going to have to be really tough on. That's when me and Charlie are going to be really tough on people. And I think we're going to be able to turn the corner really well with our guys. But and we have a much bigger group and stuff. But it's the sort of thing where, like, you know, like a lot of people don't have that experience of leading men, but leading that large of a group as well. You know, it does take time. And there's a lot of people that, I mean, it's just going to lead people astray. You make you say one little bad thing, and they get like you have a mass amount of people. You move your finger, the whole arm moves. Right. Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people leading these groups understand that, and the responsibility, and then like the amount of like guilt they'll feel if they end up like getting people wrecked pretty much. And
yeah, 100%.
People think it's easy money and stuff like it's not, you know, and it's a 24/7, 365 job and stuff. I'm always thinking about this stuff like all day, all night. I'm answering messages. You know, I'm putting out fires, or I'm yelling at somebody, just why'd you do that? That's fucking stupid. And he's like, yeah, my bad. And it's a lot of those.
Hopefully you're able to foster an environment where people take responsibility, because that's not a common trait anymore. Everyone wants someone else to blame. You know, right. we do support for users through our DApp, and, you know, people seemingly at times don't even try, you know, and guys, you know, you know, we're busy. We're happy to be helpful, but just try, you know. And I think that, you know, I'm sort of I'm unsurprised that, you know, within groups, you know, I'm sure within Patreons, there's people who are very happy, then very upset. I'm also sort of not surprised when I think about traditional financial investors, why, you know, there really is no appetite for those kind of products to include digital assets, you know, because they're earning their 1% on your portfolio, as an example. And if everyone's expecting to earn 8% per annum in the stock market, give or take, and have a couple of cold and a couple of warmer years, well, they're not having to deal with the significant emotional volatility of their users seeing their money go up 20x and down 95%. So I wonder, from a personnel management, if a lot of these TradFi portfolio managers just wouldn't want the hassle of customers ringing up going, "You've lost all our money."
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the upfront costs and stuff, whether they're getting a vig off of like managing fund. Man, I'm telling you, man, people ask me all the time. I get this question like maybe twice a week, and maybe once a month I get like a really serious guy, like a guy that actually could pull it off. He's like, "Hey, Miguel, I'm thinking about managing some people's funds," and I just without fail, I'm like, "Bro, I hope you don't. I hope you
Yeah.
don't. I hope you fucking don't. It's not worth it." And people
No,
don't
it's an
believe you on that,
absolute.
because it's like, no, it's because this is where all the real money's made. Yeah, well, sure, if this thing scale, right? If you're able to manage fucking $15 million, go for it. If you
Yeah,
want,
you're
and
making
you'll do
money
it
off other
legally in the
people's
book.
money.
But that's a lot of, because sure, if you can make a multiple on that, you know, like sure, you can make a multiple on it and get feet. But the thing is, most people, they're going to be managing like 100,000 tops minimum, and a lot of it's probably going to be family money. And if you fuck that up, hey, Thanksgiving dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, are you going to honey dick some people on Thanksgiving? If I'm being honest, you probably could, if you talk to your family this time, and you're better off just saying, "Hey, mom, dad, everybody else, let me open the accounts for you, and I'll buy the crypto on your accounts for you, and you have it in your own custody. I don't run it." That'd be a better way to do it, personally. Get educated, maybe take the crypto mindset course, or at the very least, just like show them videos. But because I get this all the time. My mom wants to throw in like $5,000. More than half of it should be in Ethereum. The other half, little pulse chain, then take a shot on an L1, maybe a Solana or AVAX or something. Cool.
Yeah,
Done.
sure.
And right now, that'll probably win. So right now, this is the thing. The lucky is like right now, that'll win. Next Thanksgiving, it's gonna be tougher. You'll be faster.
Yeah, it's going to be risky.
It's gonna be more risky. So right, you get the benefit of the doubt right now. Is that it will probably work out this time. Next time, it's gonna be tough. You actually have to sell. So
yeah, but like we've said, no one wants, or not nobody. You know, we're all in the loop with the market cycle and the prospects, but new people often don't want in.
yeah,
They don't want in at the moment. That all they see is the downside risk, which, you know, we can't even comprehend how that's coming into their risk benefit ratio.
right.
For some reason, they falsely equate the risk levels being lower at the top of a bull market, which is, you know, shattering for them.
It's because it's just like they I would imagine the way they're thinking is probably like, okay, if I jump in right now, when the market's hot, I'll be able to make multiples and get out. But they never do, because they're like,
Yeah.
holy fuck, this thing can keep running, because the greed will get you. Like 2x isn't enough, a 3x or 4x isn't enough. Like wow, like because it's like, the thing is like I've got 5, because like like there's two things. There's one, like a guy that comes in with $100,000. I mean, you already got to be, you're already at a certain wealth level that the $100,000 guy wants to make $1 million, right? And then the $5,000 guy wants to make $1 million, right? And
Yeah.
you know, but the $5,000 guy's trying to make $100,000 or something plus. And I've known tons of guys that jump in, get into the market, studied up, and then don't take profits when they're at like 100,000 or 200. Like they did it. Like I saw so many guys we helped out, and so many guys that came here with like 10,000 or less, and they're sitting at a couple 100,000, and they didn't take profits, and they wouldn't take profits, because I'm going to $1 million, bro.
Do you think it takes you a cycle to learn though?
Oh yeah, 2 cycles. Yeah.
Because your first bull market, you think that this is going higher than I could have ever thought possible, and it will continue, which it doesn't. But then you don't fully realize how low it can go.
Yeah. They just
I
don't
mean,
know.
I didn't see
They just
any
don't know
hacks.
like how cold these bear markets are. They're really cold.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to Fast Abdul, man, with the, I don't even know how many chat it is, but good chat. pay you this bribe when RH Red Bull Man movie comes out. We will moon. But I mean, dude, I remember talking to some kid. He was like living in a shack. Like, imagine this kid's made like he's made $13 million, and he's literally living in a homeless shack, effectively. Like, it was one of the wildest things. I had to force him to tell him to sell some stuff. He sold. I made grocery lists of stuff for him to buy, like where to buy clothes. Like, it was insane. Like, this was more of a psychological thing more than an actual like he didn't know what he like. It was kind of like we taught a kid, like it is what we taught somebody that like was basically damn near homeless, and we made him a multi-millionaire, and he didn't know where to buy clothes. He didn't know like hygiene really well. He's like it's like, you know, but that was a very special
incredible
case.
story.
Yeah, a pretty incredible story. The guy's still doing pretty good. You know, but there's people like that are, you know, there's, you know, on the spectrum, you know, it is what it is, you know, but hey, the guy's up, you know, it's sad, but like we helped him out and he's doing good now. And like, I was like, you need to spend this on this and stuff. Like, most people, you need to not be spending money. Like, there's people that we have met some people where like, you know, you have to increase your lifestyle legitimately. Like, what are you doing? Like, get out of like, you know, and had him clean his room, and like it was like, you know, it's like taking over, like it was basically watching over a little brother effectively to get him to do that and stuff. But this is how he was able to get the capital to make these changes and stuff like that. So yeah, we help tons of people like that. There's other people like we've had to tell them like they've made millions, and like we had to stop them from spending it because it was like, you're gonna go broke. What are you talking about, bro? You buy this second fucking house, you buy 2 more cars, you're basically out of money, bro. What are you talking about, bro? No, taxes, motherfucker. And like, you have to pay taxes. Then after the taxes, you're gonna buy another fucking house, and then you're gonna buy a car and this. All right, fine. You can buy the cars, pay off the house. Cool. Don't buy a second house. Well, I need a house if I want a vacation over here. And like, bro, you're wasting all the money. But like, you know, you tell me, I planned it out. I was like, bro, you're gonna be broke within 18 months. And not broke, but not actually broke, but like you're gonna be cash poor in 18 months.
Most of the people that I talk to, or at least by the time we've finished having a conversation, the financial goals, in my opinion, should just be over time buying back your time. You know, I now only have to work 20 hours a week. Now I only have to work 10 hours a week. I think once you start buying toys or your goal is a number on a spreadsheet, it becomes really difficult to actually lock in that change in lifestyle. And you know, there's the saying that when you're 20, all you want to do in life is be rich or successful. And when you're actually rich or successful, all you want to do is be 20. And I think the quicker you can start to buy back your time, you know, I think those are where the most gains are in terms of your lifestyle. It's not in fancy cars and fancy hotel rooms and fancy drugs and, you know, fancy holidays. I think it's, you know, getting back in control of your time. But look, everyone's each to their own, and everyone's able to walk their own path. But I think there really is an opportunity for financial freedom within crypto as a whole. And I think people are very fortunate to find, you know, mentors like Charlie and yourself, you know, to help them out. And, you know, so having stories like that's just fantastic.
Definitely. I mean, right now, what I'm telling people is like you guys, especially since the bear market started, I've been telling people work as many fucking hours as you possibly can. Like, I'm taking jobs take jobs just to make every little bit of cash that you can, work as many hours as possible. But there comes a point in time. This is the part that people don't ever hear, this part, because they just don't listen. We have 7 more months. And that's 7 or 8 more months where you can work as many hours as you can. You're basically working yourself to the bone. You're working weekends. You're trying to work 70, 80 hours a week. If you're working a regular job, if you're in your business, you should already be working like a fucking crazy asshole anyway. But I'll say this for the guys who are just working regular jobs and stuff like, or have gainful employment. You work as many hours as you can, take as many side jobs as you can, do everything you can to scratch up as much cash as possible, save, don't spend much, invest everything you can in crypto. Around the end of summer to August of next year, you cut it down to normal hours. Because what'll happen is right now, like we have the best prices in the world. So right now, the cost benefit of like having the most amount of money possible buying at the best prices is now to the next 6 months from now. Most altcoins, most L1s, most everything you could talk about, Pulse Chain Coins, Hex, PHEX, all this stuff, we're barely 2x off the bottom, off of everything. At some point in the next 6 months, we'll be a 5x on average off the bottom. So what you can buy for $1 today, like you're only buying 20 cents, and you know, it becomes at some point where like you're just, the money you're making is not enough to buy anymore. And then at that point, you just go back to save. You tone the hours down so you can think. And it's not. So we work all these hours. We're putting as much capital as possible, and then what happens is it's kind of like you're injecting yourself with steroids for a second to do this mad rush to get cash, to put money into the market, and then at some point, people do the opposite. Is that when the market gets hot, they work all these fucking hours to put as much money into the hottest part of the market. But here's the problem: is they're working so many fucking hours, they're not thinking straight at all.
You're spot on.
And right now we're like, it's right now it's stupid. There's nothing to do. So you work as many hours, be mindless as you can, work as many hours, listen to as much shows as you can, but work as much as you can to put as much money into the fucking market as possible. And then at the end of next year, you tone it down. You're doing the minimum amount of hours as you can because you have all these savings, you have all this, your assets are worth multiples, and now you can now breathe and think. And that extra, like you go from 12 hours a week, 12 hours a day, or 10 hours a day, or 7 hours, or 8 hours, 9 hours, whatever you're doing, you tone it down to either half time to just regular full-time work. You calm down, like, wow, work's kind of easy. Now you have these extra hours to think about taking profits or moving around, because right now that you've made a portfolio, now you have to manage it. And that's the important. So August of 2024 to the summer of 25 is going to be the all-time highs. So from there, you're now managing the portfolio, maybe grabbing here, doing swapping here, taking some profits here. Like where most people do the opposite is they work nothing during the bear market, and then when the bull market's hot, they're working every hour they can, and they got their mind off their minds on the money, but their minds off the ball. They're not really watching the bag anymore, and this is why they never sell in time, or they're not really like thinking. And continue to work. And that's the important part too, is like, I'm not saying quit your job, is like keep doing the job, but when you're working, you keep doing these hours, you've lowered the hours down so you have more room to think. You're used to working these crazy hours, and now you've reduced it. Now you have all this extra free time. Now you can think more about the portfolio, how to make the moves, the multiples, and then you're going to catch it. I'm telling you, this is going to work.
I've definitely been telling
don't leave the job and stuff unless you literally unless you hate it. That's different. That's different. But most of you guys and most people, like, this is why, like, I've had so many people from Puerto Rico tell me that they're leaving Puerto Rico, they're coming back, or they went to Portugal. It's because they were just like dick in their hand, no job, doing nothing with the girlfriend or some fucking Latina they just picked up, or some fucking like busted ass white chick. They're out there in Europe, or in that, just like in fucking losing their mind and like having mental breakdowns on fucking Twitter, because they've had nothing to do with their lives, because they're just sitting around doing nothing. And two, they also have this level of anxiety because they're like, they thought they're going to have much more money, and then the prices came down and they didn't have as much savings as they thought they did, and now they're kind of balling on a budget when they thought they were just be balling. And that's the hard part, is like, then they're like, fuck that. Now they're feeling this dread because like they have to sell assets that keep going down in price, and they're like, they have no work anymore, and then they don't want to look like loser motherfuckers. They have to go back to like work, and the family giving them a bunch of bullshit because they've spent most of their money. And I know the prices are coming up now. This is why like Twitter's not as crazy anymore, because we finally have some gains. Coins came out. People were able at least to sell sacrifices that they over allocated for, but at least they got some money out of that. And that's what's going on in the market right now. So hey, thank you so much for the $10 super chat, Pepe. That's right.
I think people have 6 months to really hustle. I mean, look, I think the opportunities will extend.
I'll give him 7. I'll give him 7.
You're a generous guy, and you might be right, but it's all about the risk versus benefit ratio and where it's sitting. It seems like it's prime right now, and as you said, over 2024, the risk's going to start to creep up, and the upside's going to sneak down. And where the exact point is, it's probably somewhere in the middle of the year, right? And it's individual, but yeah, I think I agree with you completely. I think people psychologically look for that reinforcement that they've made a sensible decision. They interpret the bull market as reinforcement of their own intelligence rather than it just being a bull market.
There's going to be a dip sometime in quarter four. Whether we're going to be pumping in the summer, and at some point we're going to have a dip after the summer. That's the last opportunity to really buy bags. Multiple. Now, there's still going to be the opportunity once in a while. Like a brand new coin came out. Okay, I'll throw some capital in that. Sure, why not? But here, I'll put up the screen just because before we end the stream, you guys. But like, let me show you this. Like, dark mode. Bitcoin. It's already almost $40,000, you guys. You guys should already have your Bitcoin bags packed. Like, I know I'm talking to Pulse guys, I know I'm talking to everybody, but like, still, like, Ethereum's still a deal. You guys should most of you guys should have all your Ethereum bags packed before $3,400. This before $44,000. You have a little more time on Ethereum, but like we're one pump away, and we're like one pump. Oh my God, we're at 3,100, and we go to 2,800. This will go to 40. Like we're one pump away from Bitcoin being at 44, where it's like kind of stupid to buy Bitcoin. And there is no second best. There is no second best crypto asset. But when these coins pump, these coins start getting to crazy prices. Like, I mean, like, so, like, I'm using this example. Some of you guys don't have to buy any of this shit, but like, fucking VC retard motherfuckers, they want to buy Sol, and this shit's no matter what happens, this shit's probably going, like, you know how this is so stupid. This coin's probably gonna go to $1,000. It's $50. It's probably gonna go to $1,000. Just imagine what Pulse Chain and everything else could do, because that's only a 20x from here. Right? Pulse Chain and them can do 30, 40, 50, 100x, right? So a bullshit coin like this could still 20x. This could be $1,000. Like imagine this. Like it wasn't that long ago when Ethereum was like less than it was 1,000 and some change. Imagine you bought this many coins. Like imagine if I bought 100, if I had 100 Ethereum right now, right? Wow, $200,000, pretty nice. Imagine. God damn, man, I hate this shit, dude. They have too many pop-up ads now. It's fucking annoying, but like. 200,000, like imagine you had 100 Ethereum, like, wow, I have $200,000 today. Wow, that's so cool. Imagine you bought it for $50 a piece. Not bad, right? Like, what is that? What did that cost you? $5,000? Was it like 100 Sol? Yeah, $5,000. Like $5,000 and you like they could turn it to $200,000 if it went to 2 Gs, or even $100,000, or even $100,000. That's what I'm talking about. Is like, I mean, with all these coins, Cardano could probably do a 20-30x. Like all this stuff can do really well. Tron, with Tron. No, not Tron. Doge can do pretty real. Ton Coin, Telegram's token right here. Chainlink could probably do really well as well. AVAX. This is the $9 low. It's at $20. JP Morgan just threw $1 billion into this. People don't even know that. Just the other week. JP Morgan is now in bed with the AVAX and stuff. Fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Polygon Matic probably is going to do like this. I think this is the last cycle when a lot of these L2s do really well. Like Polygon Matic's probably going to do really well, and then they could flame out eventually. Polkadot's probably going to go. Like Polkadot went to $40 in the last bull market, $3 all-time low. This time around, it might go to $100. What is that? 20x minimum. Litecoin might actually do something. Who knows? We'll see with the privacy stuff. I mean, just down the fucking list, just money out the ass. Everything I see is just money. And then you can get one that can just outperform. Thor Chain Rune. Bitcoiners really want to like Bitcoiners want to have like a safe version of like their Ethereum bullshit. So the Thor Chain's our chain because we can turn our Bitcoin into something else and then convert it back to Bitcoin. Yay! Thor Chain's probably gonna fucking this thing might go to $200-300 because Bitcoin money. If Bitcoin money is ridiculous. Thor Chain's probably gonna do really well. Optimism, probably another chain that's gonna do really fucking because I like Optimism over fucking Arbitrum all fucking day. You know, I mean, just down the Maker. Look at Maker's probably gonna do that. Maker's gonna become an L1. Arbitrum, even though I think it's bullshit, it's probably gonna do really well as well. It's at least going to go $50. You know what I mean? I mean, just down the fucking list, money, and this. I haven't even talked about like. I haven't even talked about fucking Pulse Chain or PulseX or Incentive Token or Hex or eHex or PHex or any of this shit. Just money everywhere. I mean, my God, man. As a matter of fact, I'll throw a little something.
Asset. Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay, what's the second best? There is no second best. There is no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay. But take all your money, buy Bitcoin, then take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin, then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin. And if you absolutely love the thing that you don't want to sell it, go mortgage your house and buy Bitcoin with it. And if you've got a business that you love because your family works for the business that's in your family for 37 years and you can't bear to sell it, mortgage it, finance it, and convert the proceeds into the hardest money on earth.
It's just the opportunities everywhere. The opportunities everywhere. Like right now, I can say 20x's on everything guaranteed. Buy. Just buy.
Yeah, the upside's huge at the moment.
Everything, for everything. Even right now, after the 2, like we had 40x's. Basically, if you bought the bottom, you're going to get a 40x minimum.
Where do you see this ecosystem going? What do you think Pulse Chain still needs in terms of a DeFi? It's got sort of a DeFi starter pack. Gone.
Zero.
Rugged.
Rugged. Zero. Yeah. don't ask me about shit. I don't know.
I don't even mean price. So it's funny, isn't it? Like you get people so bearish currently because we haven't done 1000x yet. But geez, the chain works.
Yeah.
There's increasing development. There's a lot of DeFi apps. They're all working great. I think we're in the right place.
Look, outside of Richard, something bad happened to Richard. That's the one bad caveat. I think we would recover if something bad happened to Richard, like he died or some shit like that. I think we'd a whole year in the ecosystem would go to. I mean, we would just fucking be in a. You know how like there was a dark ages. We'd probably have like a whole year of the dark ages. Let's say something really bad happened to Richard. They couldn't shut Pulse Chain down. After a year, we'd probably recover. We'd be a year behind, but we'd start pumping. I think that would be the bad news. But a whole year would be sacrificed to dog shit. We'd be like, fuck, that sucks. But we'd make it through, and then we'd continue on, and then we'd finally have a bull market. But we'd be like a year late. That's if with everything going bad. Now, outside of Richard just rugging and selling all his coins and just taking the zero, outside of some stupid shit like that, like that's probably not going to happen. So I think it's going to do really well. It's first cycle. I mean, 30, 40, 50, 100x is it's all in the ranges there and stuff like that from current prices. Basically most coins that you look at, like let's just say something like I'll bring up Solana just because I just like the price point it's at. But in terms of just to talk about where it can go, imagine buying coins for imagine you're buying $80 Ethereum and it goes to current Ethereum prices.
Yeah,
that's the thing of like imagine as many damn, it would be really cool if I had like 2,000 Ethereum. You could actually have that in today's that's pot like having to you can buy like 100 5 figures of a coin. It could turn into 7 figures for you. That's gonna happen. That could happen, and it's not that difficult and stuff like that.
Tell me, tell me how some of the people you network with that are new to crypto. Tell me about their thoughts when you first talk to them about what returns are possible. Because my experience is they often don't fully realize. And when you start to tell them, and even I'll often speak to them very conservatively, that they still struggle to comprehend it.
Yeah, we'll show them charts. We'll explain things that happened. They also see too, like the same time if we're talking to them already, they kind of already know crypto people have made tons of money. And then we just show them the gains. We just give them conservative estimates and stuff, and we just show them like, look what you make it stock. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, you're getting inflated away. Fucking at minimum right now, you've got a 10% inflation rate right now at minimum. Whatever they say we are 3%. I mean, just triple it. We're probably legitimately a 10-year
easily
10% inflation year clip in the States. I've heard the UK is even worse. But I don't know what it is in Australia, but it's probably not good either. So
it's terrible. Yeah,
it's not great. So you need to make a certain amount of gain. Basically, if you're not making a 2x a year, you're getting fucked so badly. Basically, if during a bull market you're able to capture 2x's, which is 4 times your capital, and then you wait 2 years in a bear market, you're still going to be up. That's how crazy the math works out. Is that you make 4 times on your entire portfolio, which doesn't sound like a lot. It is a lot if you have a lot, but you make 4 times on your savings, and then over the next 2 years you're in a bear market, and then you do it again. You're still out clipping inflation, and you're surviving, and you're like still thriving. It doesn't sound like a lot because imagine take whatever your net worth is right now in crypto and 4x it, and imagine you have that in the next bear market. You still are ahead of inflation. you know, you have more money than you started with, and then you have more cash than that's all it takes, really. But obviously, I hope it's more than a 4x and 4x in 2 years. But but even at that math, from now until the end of 25, you 4x the bag, you have it in cash, you cashed out 4 times whatever you have today. You still are
you
way
can't get that anywhere.
You can't get that anywhere else.
Anywhere.
Unless you had like a huge like a scale, like a business, or you get famous on YouTube, or like it's got to be something, or like it's either business or you're or something on YouTube, or you have a huge windfall. That's the only way you can get it.
Yeah, like it's available to everyone in crypto right now, but you know, outside of crypto, it's really not available to many people. It's opportunity staring people in the face.
Definitely. But yeah, man, thank you, man. Where can people follow you, brother?
So I definitely, anyone wanting to get money onto Pulse Chain, I'd recommend coming to app.0xcoast.com. Feel free to give us feedback. We just want to make a frictionless way to get money onto Pulse Chain because we want that to grow. Twitter, we're at 0xcoast, so at 0xcoast. Telegram, we have a chat at t.me/coast0x. But DCC, thanks heaps for having us. I do have a request for a mate. Can you give us a Suicide Squad as I'm going? He loves it. We love the memes, and give it for the parakeet.
Definitely. Let me just get these last 2 super chats, man. Hexican American with a $5 super chat. All languages of Earth, and Hex Jesus speaking facts. Thank you, brother. Hex Monkey with a $10 super chat. Shout out to Coast. I used to this weekend to buy a bunch of Pulse Chain with the wire transfer from my bank. Went through smoothly. Great platform. Hey, Hex Monkey's an OG, man. That's a
cheers, Hex Monkey.
Thank you, brother. So normally it's a Pepe, but just for you guys, we'll give you the Suicide Squad.
Thanks so
much. You guys, my next stream will be on Saturday, you guys. I'm gonna have a huge AMA. I'm gonna explain the whole Binance thing. It's a little late now, but I'm gonna give a big breakdown of what's really going on with the money and stuff. So with that, man, thank you so much for joining me.
Cheers, guys.